How you doing?
Hey, gang.
What's happening? Hey, gang, this is Ryan Cozy from the chapel, as you know. And it's my good friend, my good best friend here, Ray, actually Jason Pappas, distant relative of Artie Pappas, the mayor of North Tonawanda.
We're like second or third cousins somewhere.
They eat at the same Greek restaurants. I mean, they're probably related.
Oh, yeah. We're all related. If you're Greek, we're pretty much like brothers.
Pappas? Who has the name Pappas? The Pappases have the name Pappas. Hey, anyway, we're getting together. We wanted to do a quick video. And by the way, there's no gun to this man's head to wear this hat. He is just a commiserating, he understands what it means to be from a long-suffering organization.
I feel for you guys. I really do.
Yes, as I am a Browns fan and you are a Bills fan. And together we know failure.
All too well.
Yes,
All
anyway,
too well.
we're going to do a little video here because we're going to talk with you about an upcoming class that we want to open up to circle groups, leaders and families, whether it's an individual or a group as a whole. We want to open up a new workshop that's coming our way, a study that's going to be done by the Stewardship team, of which Jason and his wife Jessica are part of. So Jason, why don't you take a minute and fill us in?
All right, thanks. So we're super excited about this semester in the Stewardship ministry. We're going to be doing a class that's geared towards small groups, and it's going to be a video driven series. But the most of what we're going to be doing is in small groups together, and we're going to be talking about finances, talking about how we handle what God's given us. One of the major focuses throughout it, it's definitely more of a Bible study, but there is practical application throughout it. So one of the major focuses is, what does the Bible say about money, and what is our response to that? So we cover a good chunk of the, I'm doing all my hand motions on this side of the camera.
Way out there, but they're darn good.
Next to the guy
motions.
with the gun making
they're unbelievable. Yeah.
So I'll try and be left-handed for the rest of this. Okay, so about the class. But we're really excited about just kind of what God will do in this. We've done a few classes in the past. This is actually going to be our first time doing this class, and we're doing it specifically for small groups. It's going to be going on Wednesday nights. You can bring your small group, and there is childcare available. So it'll be a chance to toss the kids for a little bit.
You can physically toss them.
We have great catchers in the childcare ministry.
I've seen it.
Yep. So unlike the Bills and the Browns. I'm sorry, I had to. But you can kind of get rid of the kids for an evening and focus in with your small group on what does the Bible say about money and what do we need to do about that as believers. It's something that I personally am very passionate about. That's why my wife and I are doing stewardship ministry in general. And I think that it's something that can have a massive impact on people personally taking the class, but also on your entire small group. It really doesn't matter where you're at financially. It doesn't matter if you're struggling and you're struggling and are worrying how you're going to pay the next light bill. If you're going paycheck to paycheck, or if you have if you're comfortable in your financial setting, if you're stable in your financial life, this class is still going to be good for you, and it's still going to be good for your small group because we all need to understand a little bit more about what God says about our money, and we all need to understand a little bit more that God owns everything that we have, that God's our provider, and how extremely generous God is. It's something that I don't think any of us will ever grasp 100%. Unless you're like Ryan. Ryan's just that smart, and he just immediately grasps onto it and knows it super well. That's why he's a doctor.
No. Actually, true story. I have a great family. I'm just grateful for my mom and my dad. But one of the things that I learned about when I became a Christian was I was being discipled by some guys in college. I had given my life to the Lord in college, and they had taught me about this idea of just that the resources that I was given, whether it was my time, my talent, or my treasure, that those were actually God's, and I needed to kind of manage them well. And so I actually learned about the principle of tithing. It wasn't something that I saw modeled in my family. And coming into my marriage to Erin, it wasn't like I had a great deep understanding of that. So this is an area that we've grown in as a married couple. And from what I understand, I've heard tell that this is actually a real struggle for individuals and couples in churches today.
Oh, yeah. It's huge. I mean, that's one of the reasons, why the chapel has a stewardship ministry, because it is something that affects tons and tons of people. And a lot of people think like, well, I just don't know about finances, and you may feel like alone in that. But the thing is, as we talk to more and more people, it's super, super common that people just don't really understand how to handle finances. They don't understand some of the practical steps surrounding it. But it does have a massive understanding. Those things has a massive impact on our relationships, both our relationship with Jesus and our relationship with people around us. I mean, financial stress, it's one of those things that can just chip away at you. Some married couples experience this a ton. And I know, like, even for Jess and I, you may think, oh, well, they do financial ministry. They're obviously perfect. Jess is an accountant. They should know these things.
They're relatively perfect.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
Pretty much.
We're Bills fans, so...
Yeah. I'm not perfect. They are.
No, I mean, money was one of the first things we ever fought about in our marriage. Our first, like, major marital fight was when we started putting the budget together.
I think they were in their office when that happened. I heard that about 5 weeks ago?
And she's violent. She hits.
No, that's not true.
No. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So it has a huge impact on different aspects, different relational aspects of our lives. Some people think, well, it's just money, but there's huge implications with how we handle that and how it affects everyone else around us. There's a verse that just pops into my mind when I start thinking about this stuff, but it's the verse that talks about big things to small things. So if you can't be trusted with small things, and when Jesus says small things, he's talking about money. He specifically references it next, but he says you won't be able to be trusted with larger things, which is the true riches of heaven. I know personally, for me and for you guys, I don't want money to be a small thing that holds you back from the true riches that God may have for you. Some true spiritual blessing that God may have for you in your life. So it's a really important thing to begin getting right and begin understanding, and it's totally a journey.
Yeah.
Jess and I have been on it, together. We've been married 3 years, and we're still on that journey together.
Yeah. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put a link below this video, and it's going to just give you the who, the what, the where, the when, the why, and the how to becoming a part of this next study. And Jason, I know he mentioned a few of those things in this video, and we're just trying to be a little bit goofy, but the reality is these are God's resources, and we want to be a church where no matter what the struggle is, we can talk about it. We can bring these things up, and if financial issues are a challenge in your marriage, if you happen to be married, or if they're a struggle for you and you're single, the reality is we want to help, and because we feel like if we help in this area, that as you steward the resources that God has given you well in your family or in your individual life, the reality is we stand a better chance of glorifying God in our everyday living. And the chief end of man is the glory of God and to enjoy Him forever. And so if we do that well, we're also in a position where we can demonstrate that to a lost world. And perhaps that is one of the things that draws unbelievers into a personal conversation about Jesus, and we want to be about repeated opportunities for every man, every woman, and every child to hear, to see, and to respond to the gospel. And the reality is they may hear about it through the way that you all make decisions as a family or as an individual, and they may see it. They may see the evidence of the gospel in the things that you invest in.
And in your generosity and how you respond, how you're able to be generous to the community around you.
Yeah. So God bless you, gang. We'll probably do one more update before Christmas, but if you don't watch it before then, Merry Christmas. And we look forward to you potentially participating in this study. Be well, gang.
Love you guys.